And Amanda, mid-speech, goes, "You're screwed." I'm going to do my best here. Good evening, everyone. For those of you that met me last night, I'm sorry. My name's Leelyn. I'm the maid of honor. Just a heads up, Courtney and her best friends, BJ, give a hi, Beach, John, and Kayleen, warned me that they're going to cut the mic if I go over 3 minutes. So I cut this speech down from 50 pages to 25. Get ready. It all started back in Morgantown, West Virginia in 2004. I'm just kidding. Courtney and my friendship did begin in my home state of West Virginia. We were both freshmen, fresh out of a Catholic education, embarking on a journey in a much different environment. If you've been there, it's Morgantown, and you can't understand it. A common theme in Catholic education is for students to lead by example. I came into college feeling a little lost and overwhelmed and kind of seeking out my own example. I had the privilege of meeting this girl early who led me to the light those first few years. I'll admit, initially her whole approach to school was a little confusing. A little less academically motivated and a little more concentrated on the experience. I'm sure if you've heard this story, you'll enjoy it to hear it again, and those who haven't, enjoy. This doctor of psychology that sits before you will not surprise you that she once, freshman year, sat in the Academic Honor Society meeting. Unfortunately, they were actually waiting for her down the hall at the academic probation meeting. She misattended. That's okay though, Court. I knew you were ambitious. You always had a plan. I remember walking into Court's dorm room, and she's got her head on the table. She's just so lost. And there's just piles of 500-page small books, all entitled Philosophy and Law. And I said, "Court, what happened?" And she goes, "Oh, I applied for a senior level pre-law class again." And I was like, "But Court, you're a freshman." And she goes, "Lee, I've been watching Law and Order for years. I know what I'm doing." So yes, in the beginning, her example of how to be a student left me a little lost, but I again realized Courtney always had a plan. Courtney offered many examples on how to fulfill your college experience socially. There was no better example than Old Murph. I would love to give the details of that experience, but I can feel Amanda getting red and Courtney's so nervous. Screw it, I'll tell you one story. So I think it was summer semester. When you follow Courtney's education plan, you'll do a summer semester. So we were in summer semester, and Amanda was our voice of reason, the bridesmaid over here, but she went home for the weekend and decided to leave Courtney to our own devices, Courtney and I. So we went out that night, decided to paint the town red. We were overserved, which I'm starting to realize happens a lot. And nonetheless, we call her best friend BJ, who's over there in the corner in New York. New York's a fast life, so it's 1 a.m., but BJ had only just got started. So BJ was like, "Grab the first Greyhound out of Morgantown and come to New York." It's 2 a.m. Courtney and I took a taxi and packed 2 bags. I got bad news. There is no Greyhound station in Morgantown, West Virginia. We combed those streets for hours, searching and searching and searching. The unfortunate part of that story is I didn't follow Courtney's example, and I called my parents to let them know I was headed out of town at 2 a.m. And yeah, sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Murphy. I was called home the next day. We were both in trouble. While our irresponsible days are ones that I fondly remember, it's days after that I realized exactly why Courtney is the best example on how to approach life. We certainly sowed our wild oats those first 2 years. However, in your junior year, Courtney showed her full potential. She dedicated herself to the books and the pavement. She was running 9 miles a day and bringing home straight A's. She graduated and made the decision to move back to Philadelphia to go to grad school. It was during this time she met Brian. I had since moved to Charleston, South Carolina, and I still remember when Courtney first called me. I was on a bridge running, and she told me I met a guy and he's really special. I knew then it was something different. Amanda was the first to meet him. She had nothing but good things to say, but Amanda's a total softie. So I really challenged Brian the first time I met him. I came to Manheim, and I decided to pregame. Mayor Conley was there, we were all having a really good time, and I wanted to go to the bar. Amanda and Courtney realized my night was going to be short-lived, but Brian courageously volunteered to take me downtown. Courtney barely knew these guys, and I was being introduced to them really early. While we're all at the bar, I excused myself. I wasn't feeling very good, whatever. I decided I need a nap and laid on the windowsill of the bar and took a nap. The rest is a little hazy, but I think Brian tells it that the bouncer walked up to him and said, "Is this yours?" And he said, "Yeah, that's mine." And he took me home. That wasn't exactly how I saw that happening, but you passed the test with flying colors. Yeah, that was a bad story. That took a lot of courage. I knew that this guy could take, if he could take care of me in that situation, he could handle Court. Courtney and Brian are two people I can rarely say no to. In fact, their guest room is affectionately known as Leelyn's room. Courtney, you continue to serve as an excellent example on how to live my life. I admire the love and friendship you and Brian share. You are truly a perfect match. You mean the world to me. I feel so lucky to be a part of this. Thank you guys. I love you.